Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise podcast. I have a very special guest on this show. Chicago sports broadcasting legend, Pat Benkowski. What? No, we couldn't get a hold of Pat? Shit. All right. We do need to have Pat on, though. I say we. I guess me. I need to have Pat on. If you didn't grow up with a chance to see the Benkowski Sports Spectacular, you really missed something. And I'll give you a tip. He has a YouTube page. Has 38 subscribers. I laugh, but I don't think the Scipio one has much more than that. We didn't put videos up forever. Who the fuck would have subscribed to it? Pat hasn't put a video up in 5 years. Is that a bad sign? Is he not still doing this? But he was a guy who had a press pass and I guess a camcorder. I don't know what he was doing. Hire a homeless person to follow him into the Chicago Stadium or Wrigley or Soldier Field or Comiskey Park. Way back when it was the stadium, not United Center. Way back when it was the original Comiskey, all the way up until the stuff they're in now. And Pat would just ask the most inane questions to people. And it was great. The best thing is if you watch the Sports Spotlight on YouTube, are the captions he would put under the thing. He still times them out. They're all 29 minutes long. As if, he still needs... Was it a half-hour show and he could only sell a minute's worth of ads? Why was it 29 minutes? But they're all 29 minutes. But it was always really interesting who he would talk to. I mean, he interviews one-on-one. He interviews people you don't think that he'll get to interview, like, Derek Lee and Jimmy Butler and like real relevant people. But there's lots of interviews and Mike Ditka, and there's lots of like group interviews with like MJ. Pat wasn't afraid to ask Michael the tough questions. It was great. I always really enjoyed him. And the best part was when he watched the Sports Spotlight. I guess that's really what it was called, not the Spectacular. Were the actual ads that he would put in it. And they were, it was the South Suburbs finest. It was Lansing Floral and Fat Sam's. Fat Sam's was a huge sponsor. So when that place went under, that was a real blow to Pat. He could never quite get the Victory Auto Wreckers deal worked out. That was too bad. That would have been a perfect fit. But if anybody knows where Pat is, please let me know, because I'm not kidding. I literally would love to interview Pat on this podcast. I always enjoyed his work, and I always enjoyed the fact that when he would ask questions, you would see other reporters who felt like they were more legitimate, who kind of stared at him like, "What the fuck?" Kind of like, but not. Like Cheryl Ray Stout covers the sports for NPR, local NPR. And whenever Cheryl asks a question, people look at her like, what? No, nobody's listening to NPR for the sports news. So it was the same kind of derision that would face our beloved Pat Benkowski. So anyway, sorry to tease you. I really thought we had him. I'm going to have to reprimand my producer. Problem is my producer is me. But if you know where Pat is, let me know. It's probably a good time, too, to put in a plug for the newsletter. My newsletter. You don't know this, but the newsletter, all the money comes in for the newsletter. The vast sums of money that fuel this podcast so I can keep this free for you guys. So I'm going to ask you freeloaders to sign up. Just give it a shot for a couple of months. There's a sale right now, 24% off. I believe it's $5.24 a month. I mean, come on. For all this brilliance, you get at least 2 columns a week, plus you get the podcast sent to you so that you don't miss a thing. We're not just remembering this crap and stuff for free. Actually, we are. We're completely remembering it for free. And an annual, there's 25% off an annual, too. You only have to pay it once. And then put it on a credit card that you don't check that often. It'll just keep renewing, and it'll keep me happy. But I do thank everybody. It always amazes me that people actually pay for that. I'm glad they do. And hopefully I provide enough entertainment to make it worth it. I try. If you follow Praz, I know he did it on Blue Sky. I think he did it on Twitter too. We really should broadcast the first 10 minutes when we're like getting ready to podcast on that show with Oleg and Praz, because we talk about just the dumbest shit. Oleg was asking me about something that I remembered it, but he had to like remind me that I actually did it. And then I turned around on the bookcase behind me and I found it. In 2003, after that season, which was super fun until it wasn't, I put a bunch of the DeCipio columns together in a book and I sold it. And I sold dozens of them. And he's like, can I still get one of those? Because he didn't buy one. He wants to go back and reread the columns. And I pulled it off the shelf back. Well, you can't see. If you could see, it's back here. That's right. I put it back again. Because it was, I tried to print it as cheaply as I could. Not for me. I thought the cheaper it is, more likely that somebody will buy this damn thing. And so it's spiral bound, which actually is kind of handy when you read it. And it's called Oops, They Did It Again. So very dated title now. It was an awful pun at the time, and now you're like, oh, Jesus. But, they did. They recreated the 84 collapse. They just did it in 2003. And I thought, I should probably find that book and like reissue it for all the vast numbers of people who want to read about a 22-year-old baseball team. But it's an interesting look back at what happened, and to go from modest expectations to it was close right before the trade deadline. They really weren't playing that well, and then they got Aramis and Kenny, and they took off, and then we got very excited. Then we got super cocky, and then they did what they always do to us, or what they always did to us. And I found all the columns, so I think what I'm actually going to do is, I'm kind of embarrassed I own a copy of this, but I remembered why I bought it. I bought it more because I wanted to see the format that he used in the book, and I bought it used, so he didn't get any money because he'd already gotten his royalties on it. And I didn't have to pay full price for it. And it is the book by Bill Simmons. Now I Can Die in Peace, which is basically what he did. He took a bunch of columns, I think, for 2003 and 2004, from his Sports Guy site, maybe, or was he already at ESPN by then? Oh, it goes even back farther. He's got stuff from the 90s in here, it looks like. He was really feeling himself. He republished the columns and he put footnotes in it, so he kind of made like current day comments on his old columns. And I thought, that's kind of a good idea. Maybe I should do that. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to take the 2003 Cubs book and I'm going to reformat it, and I'm going to go in and make 2025 observations and cringe at some of my writing. And I will admit that I read through a few and I thought, oh God, I can't believe I wrote that. But I also laughed. Oh, that guy's funny. Who is that guy? It's far enough away now that I don't remember. Like, I don't remember what I wrote. So it's entertaining to me too. But that's not all. I thought they actually had a team that won the World Series, and I wrote a bunch of columns about that team. So I think I'm going to do the exact same thing for the 2016 Cubs, and do the same thing. Put footnotes. I'm going to tell you right now, I am blatantly going to rip off the format that who published this, ESPN books. Go figure. Because it works very well. Basically, the column that he wrote takes up 2/3 of the page, maybe more, like 80% of the page, and then 20% of the page is a sidebar on the side where he can make footnotes, and they're just easy to follow. I think I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago that I gave Infinite Jest another shot. I thought I'd try to read it, and I just can't read that book for a number of reasons. But one of them is that it's endnoted. Not footnoted, it's endnoted. And you need 2 like bookmarks, and you have to go back and forth. Like, oh, there's another endnote. I got to go read this. And then some of those endnotes are like, they're 6 pages long, and they're in tiny little print. And it's like, oh, you never feel like you're gaining any momentum. But I like this format with the thing on the side. The reason I'm saying this is I'm doing it in an effort to force myself to actually do it. Because if I tell people I'm going to do it, then I'm more likely to go, shit, I guess I really should finish that. Because it could easily be something that I get started and go, that seems like work. I have no idea when those will come out, but I want to do those. I think that'd be fun just to have for me, and maybe I'll sell 6 or 8, and maybe you'll buy one. And it'll make a great. I'll try to get them ready by Christmas, so you can give them Christmas presents. Honestly, it shouldn't take that long to do it. One of the things I enjoy is taking like press conference transcripts and pulling quotes and making fun of them. I get a big kick out of that. This is just me doing the equivalent of that to my own columns. So we'll see. I'm going to try to do those. All right. So what have we talked about so far? Pat Bankowski, who's not on the show, subscribe to the newsletter, and maybe I'm going to write 2 books that I can charge you money to get. Sounds like fun. The Cubs are off to a very pleasantly surprising start. Not that they're, we knew they were a pretty good team. But this is they're running the gauntlet to start the season. They have a tough schedule, and they really do. It's a tough schedule. It's the teams that are supposed to be good are good, and it's difficult to play them. And the Cubs are doing fine. They're 9-6. They are 9-4 in the good old United States of America. And almost swept the Rangers. Shota, not good yesterday, but hey, even the greats are allowed a bad performance once in a while, so we're not going to jump out the window. But the actual bad news yesterday wasn't that they lost. So Justin Steele, after pitching really, really well against the Rangers on Monday night, 7 innings, no runs, is on the injured list with elbow tendonitis. I don't know that elbow tendonitis is less scary than forearm tightness. Forearm tightness means paging. I don't know who does it now. Who's the new Tommy John expert surgery whiz? Dr. Neil Atrash. I don't even know how you say his name. It looks very French. Because it used to be, you'll call Dr. James Andrews. He is still alive, I think, but you probably don't want him operating on your. It's like he comes out to shake your hand and he's already shaking. Yeah, you don't want that. Frank Jobe is, I believe, dead, so probably don't want him to do it. But I don't know whoever the guy is. But usually, if you have forearm tightness, you probably should book a surgery suite because it's coming. It's just a matter of when. I don't know. Elbow tendonitis doesn't necessarily have to be that, but Justin did get shut down last September with elbow tightness, and I know the Cubs were just, nothing to worry about here. This will be fine. No, it's just a little tendonitis. It'll be great. He pitched after it last year. Yeah, he made 2 starts. He pitched a total of 6 2/3 innings. 1 start, 2 2/3 innings. The other start 4. So, there was no reason to push him. They were out of it. But the idea that, he was perfectly fine, we don't know that. And then he came back and he had a terrible start in Tokyo, and then he pitched a little better and then really well. And now he's hurt. They are anticipating a minimum 15-day stay on the pitcher's injured list. They always do that. This is the Cubs. This is why we can't, even if it's true, we can't trust it. Because they do this all the time. He could have had a bone sticking out of his arm. And they'd be like, it's, I don't know. It just looked like a compound fracture. It's not. It'll be fine. Yeah, we're not even sure we're going to put him on the injured list. If he's out for a prolonged period of time, it's very, very bad for the Cubs because the Cubs really have 2 good starting pitchers, and then they have some guys. And Matthew Boyd has pitched really well, but Matthew Boyd is a guy who pitched 38 innings the last 2 years. And so I don't know what the realistic limit to how long he can pitch is. And I'm not all that excited about having your number 2 starter be Big Jimmy Taillon. So we'll see. Now there is thought Should they bring Jordan Wicks up and give him a start? Or should they just go with Colin Ray? And it's like, I thought that's why you got Colin Ray, was to do this. Would it be kind of a bad sign if the first chance for him to start, you're like, no, let's pick up the guy who throws change-ups all the time instead of you. Colin has an at-bat already this year. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. And 3 scoreless appearances out of the bullpen. He's ready to roll. Gave him a 2-year contract for some reason. Might as well use him. Because of off days, they can stick to the nobody pitching on more than 4 days rest, or less than 4 days rest. And they only need, over the 15 days, if Steele really came off the injured list in 15 days, the Cubs would only need to have one guy other than Shota, Taillon, Ben Brown, or Bat Boyd. See what I did there? Make a start. And I guess that would be Colin Ray. So we'll see. Hey, it's not something I was really expecting to have to worry about this early in the season, but there it is. Justin Steele, by the way, leads the National League and wins the 3. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. The Tater Workman hit watch is still on. He's come to the plate 7 times as a big leaguer. He has had 6 at-bats because one of them ended in a walk. Without looking, and we're on the honor system because I can't see or hear you, how many times has he struck out? I'll give you a second to think about it. If you said 4, that would be a hilarious number to strike out 4 times in 6 at-bats. You'd be wrong, and you'd be too low. It's 5. What happened in the other at-bat? Or actually, he must have hit the ball somewhere. Congratulations. I'm not saying Tater is can't turn into a useful big league player. I will tell you right now, I don't think he is one right now. And I think he's on the team because they didn't want to give him back to the Tigers right out of spring training. So they had Vidal Bruin pretend they bumped his elbow into the wall. Did they take him to Milwaukee and bump him into that wall that Nick Madrigal ran into at like 6 miles an hour and blew out a hamstring? He still remember that he brushed the wall. That was the infamous Rossi blew the DH in the 3rd inning of a game because he couldn't figure out how to substitute. So the only thing he could do was take Christopher Morel from DH and have him play 3rd. There was no other move that old Rossi could think of in the 3rd inning of a game. But Vidal apparently Madrigaled himself, and he's on the injured list. And he's getting ready. He's either on a rehab assignment or he's getting ready. And that is the clock is ticking very loudly for Gage. I even suggested a trade because what the Cubs need to do is they need to call the Tigers and say, all right, we like Gage. We want to keep him, but he's not ready to be a big leaguer right now. We need to send him to Iowa for a while. I don't know if he ever played AAA for the Tigers. I do know he played in AA 3 full seasons in a row. That's not a good sign. You guys remember Chase Strumpf? What a terrible name. Chase Strumpf, middle infield prospect out of, I believe, UCLA. People, what a great sleeper. Dan Kantrovitz has done it again. Oh my God, I had these are the amateur Cubs. I'm much higher on my draft board. Why do you have a draft board, you fucking loser? He had struck out 5 times in his first 6 at-bats at Iowa. And I thought, well, if the Tigers are looking for a guy to strike out 5 times in 6 at-bats, we can give him Chase, and then we'll just keep Gage, and he can go to Iowa then. We can bring him up, send him down however we want. No, I'm saying we. Contrary to what it may have sounded like, I've not been hired to work in the front office by the Cubs yet. I'm sure it's coming. So good old Gage. John Birdie, in fill-in duty, stole his 100th base in his big league career. And now it's 102 because the Cubs were running wild on the Rangers. They were humiliating them, running around the bases, stealing everything. So I joked that if he's scored 100, if he's stolen 100 bases, it means he's probably scored 79 runs. And a few people got that joke because and it doesn't quite work out, but in 2022, he led the National League in stolen bases with 41, and he scored 47 runs. I get it. It's a team. The run scored is a team-dependent thing, and the Marlins were bad. Nobody could drive in. Poor John. But just made you wonder how valuable the stolen bases were. But no, he has scored far more than 79 runs in his career. He has scored now, I believe at the time it was 223. Now it's up to 224. It's still not a lot. If you think he's still 102 bases, you'd probably score more than 224 runs. That's where he is. I think Birdie's a pretty nice bench guy to have. Versatile, speedy. Reminds me of the version of Davey Lopes that the Cubs got in late 1984 and all of 1985 when he was in his 40s. And he could still run and he couldn't really do anything else. It's Jon Berti. It's like Davey Lopes without the resume. The Kyle Tucker watch. Things he's leading the league in. Did this last week. I think there's one fewer now. Very disappointed because really he's really cooled off now. He only leads the National League in runs scored, hits, homers, RBIs, and total bases. That's it. Like, what the hell, Kyle? You want to get $500 million? You can only lead the league in 5 categories, 6 categories? Oh, one's games played. That doesn't count because the Cubs still cheated. They have 2 extra games. Our little buddy Pete Crow can't quite get himself. Is the word untracked? Because wouldn't untracked mean you would like fall off a track? You've been unhorsed. That means you fell off a horse. You can't quite get on track. Maybe I think untracked is an actual word that means to like get going. I don't get it. His overall numbers are still bad. 211, 286, 263. Ooh. The lowest OPS I was going to say by far, but there is another guy his OPS plus is 60, and another guy is 69. Kinky. Captain Hairplugs himself, Ian Happ. Over on the newsletter, it's something you might have missed. I don't think it was the free one. I did a free one this week, but I don't think it was this one. Ian Happ, the 32nd player to play 1,000 games for the Cubs. And I decided to rank them all time. And there's, as you would expect, there's a bunch of Hall of Famers on there, like Ernie Banks and Billy Williams and Ron Santo and Cap Anson and the whole Tinkers to Evers to Chance boys. And but there's also some guys that aren't all that great. And so I ranked Happ tied for 29th. Which seems high, but that's really what it worked out to. He's not getting on base. He's not slugging, and he's not hitting. Other than that, offensively, he's doing great. He does have a stolen base. So there's one. That's good, right? I mean, not everybody meet Carson Kelly. 1.262 OPS. He's no longer leading the National League in triples. Somebody has 2 now. I enjoyed that. Like for 10 days, his 1 triple was leading the league. First, it was leading the league. Then it was tied for the league lead. Now, no more. Sorry. Dansby Swanson's number's still bad, but I feel like Dansby's playing really well. And I think he's hitting for power, which is nice. He has 4 homers in the first 15 games, which that dog will hunt. Playing incredible defense, which, as we know from our friends at Bleacher Nation, that's all he's being paid to do is to play defense. He's good at it. I do think that the $25 million he's supposed to get some hits. He's slashing poorly, 211, 281, but 474 slugging. That's pretty good. Seiya is hot as shit, which is good to see. His overall numbers up to 300, 403, 567. He leads the league in strikeouts with 22. He had 17 strikeouts in like the first 10 games, I think. It was bad. So he's at a more normal level now. He's not going to lead league in strikeouts. He's too good a hitter to lead league in strikeouts. But he does right now. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. Michael Busch being hidden from lefties again. I didn't think Craig would do it as aggressively as he did it last year. But maybe the fact that Busch should be improving again on it is somewhat overcome by the fact that he's far happier with his right-handed option in that spot than he was last year when it was Patrick Wisdom. And now it's Justin Turner overdrive. Turner pinch hit for Busch in the 5th inning of a game last week. You pinch hit for your cleanup hitter in the 5th inning of a game. That's a cry for help. That's a please get me a better cleanup hitter. It doesn't mean get rid of Michael Busch, but it does mean our lineup is still short. And it is. You got Tucker going nuts and Seiya playing well now. And Nico has played really well so far. He's doing the Nico things, the things he's good at. He's got a good average. He's got a really good on base, and he's not slugging at all, but that's fine. We're used to that. He's been very useful. Matt Shaw his numbers are bad. He doesn't feel like he's overwhelmed, though. Playing pretty good defense, and he's taking walks, which is a very good sign for a young player. He struck out 13 times in 14 games, which is high for him, but he's walked 10 times, so that's pretty good. So he is, however, having to defend that weird batting stance, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like we don't change guys' stances until they need to. Well, I think you need to because it's weird. It's not really the ass to the pitcher thing at the beginning and your toe pointed at the pink hat guy when you're batting, but it's the big leg kick just seems dumb. Like, what are the odds? Like, you have to really time it perfectly then to make that work. And I just feel like it's inevitable that it's going to go away. So maybe have it go away now. He doesn't use it sometimes with 2 strikes. Sometimes he doesn't stride at all with 2 strikes. So I do like the fact he make count adjustments. But there's a lot of moving, and that's tough for anybody. And I want him to succeed, and I really want to see that leg kick get tossed in the dumpster with the Ron Santo card and the big cake. Are they still there, or did somebody finally pick up the garbage? It's been what? 15, 18 years? I don't know. I think it was funny. The guy who found it both times was Paul Sullivan. And it's like, well, yeah, of course, he's rooting around the dumpsters. Looking for dinner. And he found, a cake! Oh, it's the Santo cake. I probably should report on this. So yeah, Shota he pitched poorly. 3 good starts and a bad one. You can live with that. Steele was finally pitching better. Taillon had a rough first start. He's been okay his last 2 starts. I still don't trust him as far as I could throw him, and he's a very large, top-heavy man, and I don't think I can throw him very far. It was funny. He pitched. It was so cold the other night when he pitched, and even on warm days, he has to put that vibrating back thing on in the dugout. It looks like you put a wrestling or a boxing championship belt on backwards, except it's all black. Clearly from the Sharper Image. Maybe Brookstone. I don't know where we had a coupon. And I thought there was an 80% chance he's just going to wear it on the mound. Is that a truss? No. Oh, okay, good. I wonder if you can. Do you think you can? Would it interfere with the pitch comm? I can't hear the pitch comm over the buzzing of my vibrating back brace. Here's the thing about the PitchCom. Boog brought it up. He's not always wrong. He was right about this one. It's annoying when a guy comes out of the dugout, and then first thing, right, gets ready to throw his first pitch, and oh no, my PitchCom's not working. It's not charged up. Oh, we got to switch with. I always feel like they do that because they're not really ready. They just lie. Why do we stop the game for it? Why don't they just have to use signs like they did in baseball for the first 132 years of the sport? Can't you do that while the team can you throw the stupid thing into the dugout and then you got to actually go pitch for a while and they fix your thing and then I come back out and give it to you? Maybe you can't use it till the next half inning. I wonder, is it like the headsets in football where if one team goes out, the other team can't use it until it's fixed? Is that why they don't do it? But it's ridiculous. It happens all the time. I mean, it happens in it's rare when there's a game where the game doesn't stop for the PitchCom. I mean, the PitchCom thing clearly works. It's a cool thing. It's a good invention. It's cool that you can program it for different languages, so that like Shotas can be in Japanese and, Julian Merriweather's can be in Canadian or whatever it is that he speaks. I don't know. He was pitching Toronto. I don't think he's from Canada. It's a good technology, but just the fact that guys can't remember to like plug it in and charge it. It's kind of like my wife and her phone. She'll get in the car and be like, "Oh, can I charge my phone up? It's on 8%. How is it on 8%? You were home for the last 18 hours. How is the phone on 8%? We have chargers everywhere. We have the whole house is wireless chargers. If you drop the phone, there's like a 60% chance it lands on a wireless charger. Maybe she's in charge of charging up the phones. It's like my buddy Mike Brott, his wife breaks phones all the time, apparently. Breaks the screens on them. And he loves to post photos of how she will set the phone on a countertop and like 60% of the phone is hanging over the counter. And the only 40% is actually on the counter. He's like, gee, why did the phone hit the ground and break all the time? I can't imagine. Maybe they could put her in charge of the PitchCom things. I don't know. But I don't think we should be stopping games for that. That doesn't seem fair to me because it's boring. I don't like it. I want action. I got used to this. You sped up the pace of play. I need it all the time now. I need baseball. It never stops. It's just so exciting. I guess we got to talk about Ryan Pressly. Bad. Just bad. What I'll tell you, the pitch he's really good at, it's the fastball that never is a strike. Like it starts too low and then it bounces like in the grass in front of home plate. And he throws like 2 of those every at bat to somebody. It's like, why are we throwing that? His overall numbers, if you just looked at it, you think, he's got a 3.86 ERA. I mean, ERA for a relief pitcher is pretty much worthless, but 3.86, it's not 8.59 or 9.53 or 9, because I can tell you who those are. That's Nate Pearson, Eli Morgan, and Ryan Brazier. Although Brazier only pitched once. But when he comes back, that ERA is probably not going to go down. 3.86 for Ryan Pressly. Leads the league in games finished with 7. 3 saves. All good. But then, if you dig into the numbers a little bit, 11 hits allowed in 7 innings. No good. 6 walks. Really bad. How many strikeouts? I'm going to pause to let you guess. 3, right? 3 would be embarrassing. 7 innings, 3 strikeouts for a closer. Nope, it's 2. Not even 3. Terrible. I mean, you might as well slap the Hector Neris tag on him right now. Giving up 14 hits per 9 innings. It's 7.5, almost 8 walks. His whip is 2.429. Shota's is 0.9. That's what it's supposed to be if you're good. 0.9 or lower. Not 2.429. Attaboy, Jed. You got to fix it again. No wonder the Astros kicked in money to get him. It's like, just go away. He's no good. Very old and bad. Other guy, old and bad, Caleb Thielbar, 38-year-old lefty. Nope, I don't like it. Every time I watch him pitch, I don't know how he ever gets anybody out. 4 1/3, only giving up 1 hit. So clearly, I'm a moron. Look, I mean, come on. 1 hit? That's all? Nobody can touch this guy. Well, he has walked 5 guys. Is that good? No, that's not good. 5 walks in 5 games for the only lefty in your bullpen. Yeah, seems solid. Good job. Ethan Roberts is back. I forgot he's already been here once. Was he in Tokyo? Is that where he pitched? He's already pitched once. I don't like him either. It's the glasses, I think. I don't trust him. Maybe where maybe we're Javier Assad's glasses, the ones that I don't think have any glass in them at all. Do you guys remember they used to sell, like, for people who played racquetball, they sold like rec specs, but they also sold ones that the frames were closer together and there was nothing in them. The whole idea was that the frame would keep the ball from hitting your eyeball. You got hit. I guess it was for people. It wouldn't fog up then. It was the dumbest looking thing ever. It was like, who's the guy from Star Trek, whatever, Geordie LaForge or whatever? Is that the guy with the reading Rainbow guy? With his cool thing. That was also a thing when we were kids, was the I'm showing the camera that you can't see this skinny, like, one unibrow sunglass. Maybe who wears them? I'm already completely low. Ethan Roberts. Forgot him. I always get him and Brandon Hughes confused. Hughes is the lefty, right? With the bad knee that's bad. That everybody, oh my God, I can't believe they lost him last year at the waivers, and now he's back and nobody gives a shit because he's not any good. I really enjoy the angst when the Cubs lose a player. It's like, they're probably not that good. Ben Brown. I think Ben Brown's good, but man, he's making it tough. 2 starts, and then he had that kind of disastrous relief appearance in Tokyo, and he's got a 7.71 ERA. 17 hits and 11 innings and 9 walks. Oof. 2.229. Think about how bad that is. 17 hits and 9 walks. His whip still better than Ryan Pressly. You might as well have him be the closer because it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't be worse. But then there's Bat Boyd. Hasn't given up a run yet as a Cub. 11 scoreless innings, only 9 hits, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. Had a baby. I noticed he and Justin Steele both, the uniform tops just don't fit. They're not, neither one of those guys is anywhere close to fat at all. They're both in shape dudes, but the way they have their uniform, their uniform makes a belly when they're on the mound. It's the dumbest looking thing ever. It's like too tight at the chest, and then it sticks out a little bit. So just go up a size. It looks dumb. I don't get it. Oh, let's talk about something really important. The new home uniforms they're going to wear on Fridays, but they're not a City Connect. They're not. They could still get a City Connect. I don't know if you saw the I said the Bulls one, but the White Sox one leaked online, and it's basically like if you went to Sport Mart and I want a Bulls baseball jersey, that's what it is. It says Chicago, and it's red with black pinstripes. Then it's got the Sox their stupid little diamond with this hosiery on a patch on the side. We finally have seen the Cubs, those new powder blue alternates. They're not baby blue. Crane was like, we're the first team to wear baby blue. It's not baby blue. It's powder blue. Jeez. There's a difference. I don't know what the difference is, but there is a difference. Baby sounds dumb. It's baby blue. They're not babies. I guess they're Cubs. Maybe they're baby bears. Fine, Crane, you win. You talk me into it. They're cool uniforms. I really like them. I found a sweatshirt that has they have that guitar pick shoulder patch that says Chicago. And it has like a lightning bolt in it. It's cool. I found a sweatshirt that has it on. You know where I found the sweatshirt? All right, here's a tip for you guys. So I was like, I still want to get a Kyle Tucker before he leaves, before he's gone. So I can remember that he ever played for the Cubs. I didn't want to buy a jersey. What do I need a baseball jersey for? I'm not going to play. I mean, wear it to the park. Maybe they'll run out of guys. And they're like, hey, you got a jersey? You want to play? I want a jersey. I just want a T-shirt that has the logo on the front and a number and a name on the back. That's all I need. I was looking for a Tucker jersey, so I went to like Dick's. Couldn't find it. There's at the mall. I had to go to the mall. It was embarrassing. I went to the mall, and there's a Sports and More kind of shop. It's got all that stuff. They didn't have one. And this is a very Rockford thing. I was having Taco Bell for lunch. And I had only a few minutes for lunch, so I zipped in, got my tacos. I get the regular tacos, and I substitute the chicken for whatever that thing is they call ground beef. It's good. They're good. So I'm having a couple of chicken tacos. I'm sitting there, I look up. I'm in a parking lot. There's a Kohl's right there. I'm like, I've been in Kohl's 20 years. They used to sell that stuff. I walk in, and I go back to the little like pro shop they have in the back. It's not a pro. There's not like a guy with golf clubs fitting you for golf clubs in Kohl's. There's like where they have like the team apparel stuff. And I see it. Not the Kyle Tucker jersey. Still haven't found one. But I see this sweatshirt that has the guitar pick logo on it. Not only that, because it's just so overpriced. 40% off. It's their opening day sale. Theirs was even more money off than the PointlessExercise.com opening day sale. So I picked one up. It's a really nice sweatshirt. So go to Kohl's, get yourself a sweatshirt. It's probably not on sale anymore. Although it's Kohl's, you can get Kohl's cash for something, right? Like buy something you need, like a bread maker and a men's blazer and some perfume. I don't know. They sell everything. Get some of that, get some Kohl's cash, and then go back, because you can't use it that day. It's usually a couple of days later. You go back, use your Kohl's cash. There you go. Get yourself a sweatshirt. God, this podcast pays you to listen. Amazing. So I really like those jerseys. They're nice. And I'm glad they're not wearing the powder blue pants. Baby blue crane. I'm glad they're not wearing the powder blue pants, because I just think it's too much. It's too leisure suity. It's Herb Tarlick. I don't need it. Also glad they're not wearing the pinstripe pants with it, because that doesn't seem to go. But they have these very boring, like they didn't do much with the pants. They just have white pants that have piping on the side. They're fine. They're not offensive. They're fine. And Boog was like, "Oh, I love the hat." And Jim Deshaies like, "Oh, I love it. I like it on the batting helmet." I don't like it at all. I think it looks like a little league, like, it's dumb. It reminds me of the old Brewers. I think they're home hats and helmets with the white panel in front. And I know they're supposed to be, they look like the Expos, but the Expos ones were somehow cool. These are not that. I was like, look at those old Braves hats. Those Braves hats were dumb. They were awful. Like, I know they pined the Braves basically brought that like mid 70s jersey style back as their City Connect or their alternate. I don't know which it is. And they look better than they did in the 70s, because they look better as a button down than they did as a pullover. But all I think of is poor Hank Aaron looking old and fat in that, with the polyester pants and the pullover jersey. I mean, it's just, no, it's not working for me. So I'm not a big fan of the hat. It's more infuriating that they have the Baby Bear hat with the guitar. They're like the old 1914 logo or whatever it was. But instead of holding the bat, he's holding the guitar. And that's not the hat. Because that would be a cool hat. That's the one they should have. Not their that different chest logo thing on a hat with a white panel in the front. It's too much. It's very Nike. Like Nike they get part of the design right, and then they go overboard with everything else. And that's what they did. But I really like those uniforms. They're cool. The jerseys are cool. Pants are fine. Nothing to get too excited about. hats blow. And I know some of you out there like the hats, and I'll tell you there's no right or wrong answer, but that's the wrong answer because the hats are bad. CNBC, as if they have nothing else to worry about with our orangutan president trying to ruin the economy with his, let's go back to the way things were in the 30s. Oh, those prosperous 1930s with his tariffs. It's not a political podcast, but anyway, CNBC had a thing about how baseball owners, breaking news, baseball owners going to push for a salary cap in the next CBA. Yes, we've fucking known that for ever since they signed the last one, that this was their plan this time, was a salary cap. Oh, we'll give you a salary floor. We'll make the Pirates spend 20% of what the Dodgers are going to spend. It'll be much more than they're spending now, and it'll be great for the players. And no, a salary cap, they do not need one, and the players should strike for as long as it takes to not have one. And it would suck to not have baseball for a while, but it's worth it. These owners do not need you to protect themselves from not spending. They've proven they're good at it on their own. They just want Tom Ricketts and his ilk want a bona fide reason they can point to as to why they can't spend money. Because right now they use the phony baloney one of the luxury tax, and fewer fans are giving a shit about the luxury tax. When I say that is fewer and fewer fans are buying into the fact that it's really punitive. And so they're having a hard time. Like if they don't offer, 10 years and 400 and some million, or 12 years and $500 million for Kyle Tucker, and they're like, well, we just can't afford it under the... It's like, fuck you, we don't care. Of course you could. You don't want to. It's not that you can't. They don't need a salary cap. They basically have one. They have a self-imposed one. They don't like that the Mets and the Dodgers will just blow past it. That's what they don't like. The rest of them are already functioning that way. And, the small market teams will go for it because they already feel like they can't. But we know every owner could spend a lot more money than they do. And these teams are worth a lot of money. And if you don't want to, then sell it. Sell the fucking team. Ricketts bought their team. Daddy bought their team for about $900 million. It's worth $4.5 billion now. They bought it 16 years ago. That's a pretty good return on investment. So sell it. But no, they don't want to sell it. They think it's fun to have, and they're wringing all kinds of money out of it while they're pretending that it's not making any money. So that's fun. But there's no reason for it. Don't let anybody convince you that these teams need a salary cap. They would like one. We'd all like to say, oh, I don't have to spend that money. But that's not how it works. They don't need it. So there's that. The Cubs are on a road trip now, starting Friday night. They are in Los Angeles, where they will play the Dodgers again. Can't get rid of the Dodgers because they're still not done with them after this. It's like we already played them in Japan. Now we're going to play them in LA. And then on the 22nd and 23rd, got to play them in Chicago. A continuation of that series because those were home Cub games in March. Another thing, we didn't get any money for those 2 games. Yeah, sure you didn't. You went to Japan for free. I'm sure baseball didn't give you anything. And I'm sure you couldn't possibly sell merch to the Japanese when you have 2 of them. There were 2 of their favorite all-time players on your team, and you went to Japan. I think you probably should have made out okay. Another thing I don't like, these are all night games. 9:10 on Friday, 8:10 on Saturday, and it's the stupid ESPN Sunday night baseball game, which I'm so glad it's going away. The problem is I'm sure that Fox or whoever buys the package is just going to have a new one. Dave and I talked about this when ESPN first said they were going to bail out. There's still a chance ESPN could get back in. They would just renegotiate. Like they didn't want to keep it at the rate it was. They said they don't want to, and so now now the baseball's free to sell the package to somebody else. ESPN might still get it, but Dave suggested NBC And I was like, well, but the only problem with NBC is NBC has Sunday night football, and now they're going to have Sunday night NBA. And so it'll be between those two, it basically covers the whole year, right? Because football starts usually in, well, I guess they don't. They do one preseason game. So it's September until December. Then you can pick up the NBA until like June. So it's like, well, you're going to have an 8-week package. But I think what they would do is they would put those games on Peacock. And that would make everybody mad. But I get Peacock because I have Comcast. And if you have Comcast, you get Peacock for free. So it's fine with me. So that might happen. They could go there. But anyway, for now, still this year, ESPN. The one good thing about it is it's a Sunday when we won't have to listen to Thumbo, Alex Cohen. During the game on Sunday, I got a direct message from one of the Chicago sports writers who said he might be the worst announcer the Cubs have ever had. And I think he's right. I think Chip, to me, was the worst. And I think Alex is worse than Chip. I'm not saying I think he redeems Chip at all. Chip still sucks. He sucked then, he sucks now. But this guy's terrible. Never stops talking. It's like, the game's on TV, buddy. He still cues up Jim for things that Jim doesn't want to talk about. Like he was like, what would you give Matt Shaw early season grade? And Jim goes, incomplete. Yeah, it's great dynamic those two have. Wonderful. There's just so much dumb. One of my favorite moments was Jason Hayward caught a fly ball, and Thumbo goes, oh, it's just really weird to see Jason Hayward in any uniform other than the Cubs uniform. That's right. Jason Hayward in his career has played 1,700 games. He's played 1,000 games for teams other than the Cubs. He had played as many years in baseball before he came to the Cubs than years he played for the Cubs, and he has continued to play since then. He is, I would still say he's far more synonymous with the Braves than with the Cubs. And he's also played for the Cardinals and the Dodgers and the Astros and the Padres. There's plenty of, it is not jarring to see Jason Hayward playing for a team other than the Cubs. But nice job. Way to go, Potsy. I got to do a Potsy joke because in order, as I was listing the Cubs who've played 1,000 games, in order by last name, it went Banks, Anson, Williams. And it cracked me up. Most of you were like, who the fuck is Anson Williams? Well, he was Potsy on Happy Days. I mean, I was a little kid when Happy Days was on. But I know who he is. I know my TV history. So should you. Look him up. Anson Williams. Potsy Weber. I still think the greatest moment in Happy Days history was Richie was Richie's older brother, Chuck, was in the first season, and he was always dribbling a basketball around the house. Big basketball star, Chuck Cunningham. At the final episode, Mrs. C says to noted Cub fan Tom Bosley, her TV husband, we raised 2 wonderful kids. See, the writers had completely forgotten about Chuck, who was only on the first season, but there was more. But anyway, Richie apparently also, him and Chuck were basketball stars. Richie's playing high school basketball, and we got to see part of one of the games. And coach runs down the bench and needs to put Ralph Malph, played by the great Donnie Most, into the game. And Ralph says, I can't go in. He's like, why? And he's like, I don't have my uniform on under my warm-ups. I never play. He had just street clothes on under his warm-ups, and he couldn't go in the game. My favorite moment in Happy Days history. It was great. After the Cubs' 3 night games in LA, then they play at 8:40 on next Monday at 8:40 on tax day. Don't forget to pay your taxes. It's great to pay taxes to a government that doesn't want to provide any services. And once again, not a political podcast. We won't get into that. Then finally, so the twins, right? No, that wasn't him. Oh. Do you get any blues bands over at Coombs Corner? No? All right. It was just very odd. And it was, for me, it was triggering. I had flashbacks to, my wife is a big Chris Hayes fan. He's fine, but he's nothing special. And she wanted to go to his, he was doing a live podcast taping at the House of Blues in Chicago. And she asked if I wanted to go. I said, let's get tickets and we'll go. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. Maybe I'll get some tips. I'll go to a live podcast taping and I'll get some tips. So we get the tickets. And then they announce what the topic is. I don't think they had announced the topic beforehand, because if they did, I would have immediately said, no, we're not going to that. I assumed it was going to be, this was last year, right? So it was an election year and he's got a political podcast, and thought, oh, it might be interesting. What's the topic going to be? The topic was the history of hip hop by Chris Hayes. This is not Isaac Hayes. This is Chris Hayes. It was just like what you thought it would be. Here's the worst part. We get there, nowhere to sit at the House of Blues. Had to stand. Now, it was kind of fun because I was standing in front of the bar, so I could at least drink. But it's like, I really need, maybe if I had sat down, I would have fallen asleep. So maybe it was good that I had to stand up. But it's like, there's not enough people here for this to be like standing room only. Why is there nowhere to sit? This is not a concert. I get it if it's a concert. It's not. It's a podcast taping. It's going to go on for like 90 minutes. It wasn't great. But now I'm waiting for her to say, hey, there's this guy, Crane Kenny's going to talk about the history of the electric blues in Chicago. Do you want to go? No. I do not want to go to that. Can't make me. And I'll probably end up going. Anyway, stay tuned for the live for the announcement of the live podcast with me and Pat Binkowski at Fat Sam's. What was that, in Palos? I don't remember where Fat Sam's was. I've been there several times. It was a perfectly cromulent sports bar, but it's gone. I just remember we used to go there, and then I found out they were sponsoring the Pat Binkowski Spotlight, the Binkowski Spotlight, Sports Spotlight. I can't even get it right. So when I get a hold of Pat, we'll do a live taping somewhere. It'll be fun. I was listening to the Hoga Johns podcast, and Hoga was giving a plug for the Chuggo Draft Night podcast, or the show. And the tickets are selling. I still can't believe they sell tickets, though. It's like, it's just in a bar. Just set up. Let's let people go to the bar. Why do they have to buy tickets for this? But whatever. Y'all got to make a living somehow. So I'm not going to complain. It always surprises me. And we'll be back on Tuesday with Oleg and Praz. So you got that to look forward to, which is nice. And let's just hope the Cubs just don't go 0-6 on this road trip. I'd take 2-4. That'd be fine. Even anything better than that's all gravy. Just, don't get swept in both places. And let's hope Justin Steele maybe goes to a real doctor so they can tell what's wrong, because the Cub doctors aren't going to be able to tell them. All right. Go Cubs.
Many of us have herpes.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. I mean, got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much. Awesome.